Guys, I trust you've been staying safe. Now, Vince McMahon of the WWE is in very deep waters. Before I get into it, kindly do me this favor. So, I've noticed that about 98% of my viewers do not subscribe to the channel. And honestly, this is deeply hurting my channel. Please do me this favor and just hit the subscribe button as you enjoy the content. I will greatly appreciate this of you. Now back to the case at hand. I'm sure everybody, or at least most people, if not everybody, know Vince McMahon of WWE. This guy has been in the wrestling business for over 4 decades, and he is one of the key figures in the wrestling industry. He has transformed the once WWF into the WWE over the course of these decades, and he has achieved monumental strides as far as the wrestling industry is concerned. But fast forward, Vince McMahon is in very, very deep waters, really deep waters, to the extent that as of now, February 2024, Vince McMahon is actually being investigated by the federal government for crimes that are very graphic in nature, and out of respect for YouTube's graphic policy, I'll try to tone it down with the most appropriate words to present it. Now, Vince McMahon is under federal investigation for indecent assault and trafficking allegations being leveled against him by a former employee. So, as it stands now, the federal investigators are actually in contact with multiple women who have accused him of this inappropriate conduct with them. And all these conducts happened in the past, with some going back several years. As it stands now, as of a few days ago, McMahon has actually resigned from the WWE and also from the TKO after one of these women, who is also a former employee by name Janelle Grant, filed a lawsuit against him. Now, this is not the first time somebody is filing something like this or making such a claim against Vince McMahon. But comparatively, it looks like this lawsuit from Janelle Grant is the straw that broke the camel's back, forgive me, because it seems this is the most explicit one yet that has come out. And it's so deep, it is so revealing that it is making the waves across all news platforms. And it's therefore understandable that Vince McMahon had to resign from WWE and TKO as a result of this. Now, Janelle Grant filed this lawsuit, and in that lawsuit, she's complaining and accusing Vince McMahon of the indecent assault and trafficking of her being, and it includes incidents, some of which occurred at WWE's headquarters and also involved other men of that company. And news like this is something else, especially when she comes out to show her face. Because sometimes people are of the opinion that, oh, he's successful, so she wants some money. There's a bit of that in there, actually, because according to her own admission, Vince McMahon actually tried to pay her some hush money in terms of, take this money, keep quiet about the whole thing, let the case die. To the point she was actually made to sign a non-disclosure agreement, or an NDA, with an agreement that she'll be paid $3 million by Vince McMahon. But then, according to her, after Vince McMahon paid $1 million, he stopped paying the rest. And hence, her decision to come out and even nullify that non-disclosure agreement. I'm no lawyer, but I think that if you enter into a non-disclosure agreement, the intent is that you are taking something, so you also don't go and disclose whatever you've agreed not to disclose. But in this case, I agree with Janelle Grant. The non-disclosure agreement was premised on the fact that Vince McMahon will pay her $3 million. So the moment he paid $1 million and failed to pay the other $2 million that was outstanding, it means that he has failed in his obligation. And as such, the NDA cannot apply to her again. So her coming out, I don't think she has breached the NDA. You can decide to say that she's coming out because she was being owed $2 million, and if she had been paid, she would have kept quiet. I think that is her personal decision. I don't fault her for coming out. And although some are saying that she shouldn't have even opted to take money and keep quiet and that she should have come out, I think I'll sit on the fence on that. And I think that she used her discretion, and I respect that. Given that she coming out would have some consequences, but either way, she's coming out now. But it's up to her to explain why she's now coming out aside the money, and why she couldn't come out straight out of the gate when it started happening in the first place. But I digress. So I don't think I agree. I wouldn't call her that she's a gold digger. No, I wouldn't call her that. And the flip side of it also is there's nothing really to prove that she's trying to take money from him because he's successful. He could actually be guilty of this. But then there's also nothing to prove he's actually guilty. They haven't even gone to court yet. But again, I digress. So let's come back to the issue. Now, it turns out that this is not even the first time that Vince McMahon is facing such things. And I said it earlier. Because Vince McMahon was found out to have made payments to multiple women who accused him of indecent conduct towards them. Yeah. And in this case, Vince McMahon is not alone in this. In this current one in 2024, he's actually accused of perpetrating this with one of his former associates of WWE by name John Laurinaitis. Now, if you don't know Laurinaitis, you can just look at the picture here. I'm sure you've seen him if you are a fan of WWE, but maybe the name did not stick. But when this whole thing came out, Vince McMahon also made a statement when he was resigning from WWE and TKO. And this is what he said. In his statement, he's denying the allegations, and this is what he said. I'm quoting, "I stand by my prior statement that Ms. Grant's lawsuit is replete with lies, obscene made-up instances that never occurred, and is a vindictive distortion of the truth. I intend to vigorously defend myself against these baseless accusations and look forward to clearing my name. However, out of respect for the WWE universe, the extraordinary TKO business and its board members and state shareholders, partners and constituents, and all of the employees and superstars who helped make WWE into the global leader it is today, I have decided to resign from my executive chairmanship and the TKO board of directors, effective immediately." So, that was what Mr. McMahon said. Now, some people are interpreting this as a sign of him being guilty and him trying to sort of take an action that sort of mitigates the shame. I don't agree. From what he has said, it makes sense to me. That is not to say that it is true that he is innocent. That's not what I'm saying. You know, all this will have to play out in court first, and then evidence and other things will be reviewed. Then we would know what is really what. But as per this stance as he has taken, it could actually be an indication of an honorable gesture from him, trying to distance himself from the brand so this scandal doesn't adversely affect it, because he actually really cares about the brand. So that could actually be the case. I'm not saying it is, because when these things come up, I try to analyze them devoid of sentiments, because you could feel strongly that, oh, it's a classic case of the powerful man trying to take advantage of the vulnerable lady. It could be that, but it could also be the reverse, or it could be something else altogether. So I choose to sit on the fence, analyze from all angles, and wait to see what the prosecutors and federal investigators will uncover and how it will play out in court. But this is what Vince McMahon said. And it didn't end there, because bear in mind that Vince McMahon is also being accused alongside his former associate, John Laurinaitis. So Laurinaitis also issued a statement through his lawyer by name Edward Brennan. And this is what his lawyer said on behalf of Mr. Laurinaitis. So I'm quoting again. Mr. Laurinaitis denies the allegations in the misguided complaint and will be vigorously defending these charges in court, not the media. Okay, so I get this statement very well, and I think that I agree with it. You don't need to debate the accusations on social media, because their sentiments are in play, emotions are in play. You'll be making a losing argument, and even if you are successful in convincing people, that is just the court of public opinion, and it has no bearing on how the legal process will actually play out if it commences. Now, the statement goes on to say, like the plaintiff, Mr. Laurinaitis is a victim in this case, not a predator. The truth will come out. Interesting. So here, his lawyer, Brennan, is actually saying that Mr. Laurinaitis is a victim in this case, not a predator. And by predator, I'm sure he's trying to compare it with Mr. McMahon, as he has been accused. Now, this is beginning to look like the case between Jody Hildebrandt and then Ruby Frankie, where although Ruby Frankie is seen with Jody Hildebrandt perpetrating some nasty things against her kids, in the end, it seemed as she is also a victim. Now, per the accusation from Grant, Laurinaitis partook in some of these things that she is complaining about in the lawsuit. But per the lawyer of Laurinaitis, he is trying to play it from an angle that Laurinaitis is also a victim, just like Janelle Grant, in which case the argument then is Mr. McMahon was using his power to influence everybody in this case, to the extent that he is the sole predator and instigator and offender, and every other person who even partook in the crime with him is actually a victim. How convenient, don't you think? He's 78 years old. Well, some would say he doesn't have the physical power to induce people to do things, but we all know that he has the financial power, he has the leverage, he has the connections and the network. So maybe to an extent, he can actually get someone to do what he wants against the person's will. And that is exactly what Janelle Grant is actually saying, because according to her, she complied with his demands just so she could save her job and also rise through the career that she was pursuing in that company. Now, here are some of the things that she alleges that Mr. McMahon asked her to do. So, first of all, she's saying that Vince McMahon once asked her to come and help him dress. You know, if this is true, I think this is the beginning of someone being delusional. And if you look at Janelle Grant and you look at someone like Stephanie McMahon, the daughter of Vince McMahon, I think Stephanie might even be older than Janelle Grant. So I don't see why a 78-year-old man will be getting a younger lady like that, who is not your wife or your girlfriend, to be doing this. That is if he did it. Now, according to Janelle Grant, Vince McMahon asked her to come into his locker room or his wardrobe and come and help him dress up. And I kept asking myself, isn't there anyone in his life he could have done that with which was appropriate? Is this a sort of power trip? Because it doesn't end there. There's another one where Janelle Grant allegedly is talking about the fact that she had to come and put Vince McMahon to bed per his orders. And according to her, he kept insisting that if she does some of these things, he is going to make sure that she will rise in the company, that he will help her get some roles that she wants in the company. Now, this also becomes a tricky conversation. Here again, I'm no lawyer, but let's just analyze it as laymen. So, does it mean that if she had gotten the position, Janelle Grant would have been okay with it? Because mind you, she's also an adult. And it was more like an agreement between them. Do this for me and I'll make sure you get this. If you look at the trend, first of all, do this for me, I'll make sure you get this role. Granted that the act she's supposed to perform is indecent, but she agrees to go along with it. She could have quit altogether. Couldn't she? Yeah, I think she could have quit altogether, but she agreed to go along with it because she wants to save her job. Interesting, right? Yeah, but again, a counter argument would be, you don't know what else transpired. Quitting might not save you from the situation, absolutely, because bear in mind, Vince McMahon is like the Zeus of the wrestling industry. So even if you leave WWE and he wants to still get back at you, he has that long reach through other institutions, networks, and other big people that he can use to still target and get access to you. So that, to an extent, may have still coerced Janelle Grant to comply. And that is where the flip side of the analysis comes in, where we are looking at a situation where Vince McMahon is having so much power, you can't say no to him. I mean, where are you going to run to? Janelle Grant is it's like the drop of water in the ocean, and Vince McMahon is the ocean. So definitely the imbalance of power comes to play here, where Vince McMahon can use his power to sort of influence or induce her to comply. But on this, I think that a trend seems to be forming, where Janelle Grant only comes out to complain when she has not gotten what she was promised, after she has performed an indecent act. I've seen this trend twice. The first is what I'm talking about now, where she says that she was doing this to get to the rules that she was promised, but she didn't get the rules. So then she's coming out to complain. That is the first. The second is, you actually agreed to take a hash money to keep quiet about it for $3 million and sign an NDA, and you actually went ahead to sign the NDA. You took $1 million, and then because the other $2 million didn't come, you decided to now come out and complain and file a lawsuit. So what if you had gotten everything you wanted? You would have kept quiet, and this would still probably, if it's true, still be happening to other ladies. And I think that is where I'm not happy with Janelle Grant. There are certain battles that you don't fight just for yourself, but you fight for the future young ones that will come after you, so that you get rid of that evil and posterity will judge you. On that, I'm not happy and impressed with Janelle Grant. But then, it still doesn't make what is being alleged McMahon did right. Even if Janelle was sort of compromising with some of these things, hoping she would get something valuable out of it, it still doesn't mean that it is right. I feel that it was an illegality from the start, where Vince McMahon, as a key position holder in WWE, engaging in some of these indecent acts with Janelle Grant on the promise of giving her a role in itself is an illegality from the get-go as far as working relationships are concerned. So whether Janelle Grant sort of allowed it to continue, hoping to get value or not, does not make it right. I'm just thinking that she should have spoken up and not focused on what she was going to get. So, as it stands now, an official lawsuit has not yet been filed against Vince McMahon nor John Laurinaitis. And even by extension, there are rumors that Brock Lesnar might have been cited in this whole debacle, such that people are even alleging that he was supposed to have made a return appearance in the just ended Royal Rumble for 2024, but because of this, they had to pull him out. And people are even wondering if this would be what would lead to the retirement of Brock Lesnar from the WWE. His name is not directly mentioned in the lawsuit, but a reference alluding to a former mixed martial artist who was a heavyweight champion and now in the WWE made it obvious that it's Brock Lesnar, unless there's someone else out there that we don't know. So it is what it is. And as it stands now, Vince McMahon is out, even though some people are still suspecting that he may be out on paper and even officially, but behind the scenes and unofficially, once Bruce Pritchard is still in the picture, Vince McMahon will be controlling WWE through him. That is a story for another day. But what do you think about this whole thing? What do you think about these allegations against Vince McMahon and John Laurinaitis as far as Janelle Grant's lawsuit is concerned? And again, it also is alleged that it involves 12 other WWE employees and 4 other women, making 5, counting Janelle Grant. And again, what do you also think about the actions of Janelle Grant, trying to sort of get some value from doing indecent things? Let us have a conversation in the comment section. I'll catch you on the next one. Stay safe out there. Peace.